The issue of immigration has been used as a political pawn in the United States for decades. But if you're wondering why, nearly 3 years into the COVID pandemic, America still hasn't imported enough workers. The answer is that the country simply doesn't have enough immigrants. And despite the fact that this goes against the grain of the widespread belief that immigrants are taking away American jobs, there are numerous arguments showing that immigrants' contributions to the American economy are crucial. So, how does that work? How does it affect the working immigrants? And how does it affect the average American and the country as a whole? Welcome to Around the World. And today, we will be looking at why America needs more immigration to solve its inflation crisis. It's not a secret that immigrants play a significant role in the economy of the United States. These individuals perform thousands of occupations that native-born Americans often decline to do. This, however, was delayed significantly as a result of the COVID virus, which caused the processing of visas for legally employed immigrants to come to a standstill in 2020. The processing of these visas did not start picking back up again until the end of 2021. According to a recent study from the University of California, Davis, there were about 2 million fewer immigrants of working age in the United States at the end of last year than there would have been if immigration patterns before the epidemic hadn't changed. According to Giovanni Perry, director of the Global Migration Center at UC Davis and author of the study, quote, "Part of the reason why there are so many vacancies and unfilled jobs in the U.S. is that we are missing a whole lot of immigrants who regularly were coming before COVID. However, the increasing numbers of people trying to cross the border between the United States and Mexico have revived the immigration issue. To limit the spread of COVID during the epidemic, President Trump invoked Title 42 in March 2020, thereby barring entry to the country for refugees and asylum seekers. Although this was a positive step for the country, many saw it as a negative step for the economy. While their asylum petitions are pending, asylum seekers are permitted by law to work in the United States. Applicants for asylum have the option of applying for work permits during this time, which can take up to 180 days to be approved. Businesses in the United States, however, have suffered as a result of the recent decline in legal immigration, particularly in service industries such as tourism, agriculture, and construction, where specialized skills are not required. Since there aren't enough people to go around, wages have gone up, and as such, leading to rising inflation. The chairman of the Federal Reserve Board, Jerome Powell, has stated that labor shortages are being caused in part by an aging workforce and a death of foreign workers. The Federal Reserve chairman also said that a drop in net immigration and an increase in fatalities during the epidemic likely accounted for around 1.5 million lost workers. It's difficult to say exactly how an increase in immigrants would impact the ongoing inflation crisis in the United States, because there are many factors that can affect inflation, and inflation can be influenced by a wide range of economic, political, and social factors. Because of this, it's difficult to say exactly how an increase in immigrants would affect the crisis. On the other hand, there are a few different ways in which the United States' already high rate of inflation could potentially be affected by a rise in the number of immigrants. There are a number of things that could happen if the number of immigrants goes up. One of them is that there could be more people looking for work, which could put downward pressure on wages, and as a result, could help lower inflation. A rise in the number of people looking for work could also lead to a rise in productivity, which could help boost economic growth and ease some of the pressures caused by inflation. However, it's also possible that an increase in immigration could lead to higher inflation. If a larger number of immigrants are living and working in the United States, they will also be consuming goods and services, which could increase demand and put upward pressure on prices. In addition, if the influx of immigrants causes the unemployment rate to decline, it could lead to higher wages as businesses compete for a smaller pool of available workers, which could also contribute to higher inflation. Hence, for this to work, there must be a well-planned and detailed distribution of immigrants across the country. See, the reduction of immigrants had the greatest effect on industries such as construction, agriculture, and hospitality, which are highly dependent on foreign labor. See, according to a study conducted by UC Davis, These types of businesses had higher rates of unfilled jobs in the previous year due to the scarcity of immigrants, which added to the already existing labor shortages. There are presently more than 10.3 million unfilled jobs in the United States, with more than 377,000 of those jobs available in the construction industry and 1.6 million jobs available in the hospitality industry. And sadly, it's anticipated that the number will increase during the next few months. However, that isn't all. The decrease in immigration has had a particularly negative impact on the restaurant business. This is because, as a result of labor shortages, customers can expect slower service, eateries that are closed for lunch, and increased costs of meals. According to the National Restaurant Association, the restaurant business is forecasted to experience growth of 14% over the course of the next decade, whereas the growth of the US-born workforce is forecasted to be just 10%. There will also be more employment available in the restaurant industry than the workforce in the United States can fill. Also, according to the National Restaurant Association, 60% of restaurant operators are contending with personnel shortages that are putting a damper on their ability to function at full capacity. The shortage of skilled laborers is another way in which the absence of immigrants harms the economy of the United States. This is due to the fact that, according to the research conducted by UC Davis, approximately 1 million of the 2 million potential immigrants who perished as a result of the pandemic were college educated. These employees would be categorized as highly skilled workers and might even have arrived as H-1B specialties to the United States. And sadly, these highly skilled people are job creators in and of themselves. According to a survey published by UC Berkeley, 2.5 extra jobs are produced for every highly trained worker who's employed. This essentially means the manpower loss during the pandemic must have taken a ginormous toll on the USA. According to Adam Ozimek, head economist at the Economic Innovation Group, high-skilled immigration is highly crucial. He stated that we should not think of it as something that addresses short-term shortages, though it does, but rather as something that is critical in the long run for innovation, productivity, growth, and the overall health of the economy. The effect immigrants have on the economy in the United States is complicated and has many different parts, as some studies have found that immigrants, particularly those with higher levels of education and skills, can have a positive impact on the economy. For example, immigrants can contribute to the labor force, start businesses, and pay taxes, which can stimulate economic growth and innovation. But on the other hand, some studies have found that an increase in low-skilled immigrants can lead to competition for jobs and lower wages for native-born workers, particularly those with lower levels of education, and can also lead to costs associated with providing services and benefits to immigrants, such as education and healthcare. There's been a debate among economists until today about the impact of immigration on inflation in the United States. Some argue that an increase in immigration could help reduce inflation by increasing the supply of labor and keeping wages lower, while others argue that it could lead to higher inflation by increasing demand for goods and services. Nonetheless, it's important to remember that it's difficult to predict with certainty how an increase in immigrants would impact the inflation crisis in the United States, as it depends on a wide range of factors and the net effect could be positive or negative. But what do you think the effect of an increase in immigrants would cause, and how long do you think the effects will last? Let us know in the comments below. And if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, bye.